Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, dishing out on movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here. I am here to talk about my top 10 worst movies of 2021. There were a lot of bad movies. In fact, at one point, I was considering lumping all the bad movies together and tying them for last place and just making a video saying, like, yeah, they're all tied because they suck so badly. But I thought, nah, I'll just have a lot of dishonorable mentions, like with the other video, the good one. So let's get started. I got a lot of dishonorable mentions. I'm just going to fire them off, say a quick word about them. The Little Things, huge disappointment. I saw that in theaters and it really was a wasted opportunity. Got great actors and you wasted them with this boring, stupid story. And at least Jared Leto is pretty good. Spiral, from the Book of Saw. Another failure from Chris Rock, pretending like he can act seriously. And it's a terrible Saw movie. It's either the worst or the second worst of the franchise. And the villain is trash, and the ending is just a big FU. And it's too bad because there was some stuff I liked, and I was really excited about the idea, but the movie's terrible. And then Cruella, another woke Disney girl power bullshit movie where they literally take a character who's known for skinning animals to wear them as clothes, taking that character and then making a movie about them as if they're some person to root for. And it's just absolutely sickening. They tokenize that one woman. What's her name? I forgot. Cordelia or Ardenia. Nadine. What was that bitch's name? But they tokenized her. Robert and something. I can't remember. But Cruella was a very, very fun, bad movie. It was overly long. It was like 3 hours long, and but it was really fun in a bad way. And then Clifford the Big Red Dog. This is a movie that literally is like another agenda movie where it's preaching this stupid message where you shouldn't bully people. But then at the same time, the whole movie they're making fun of people based on like stereotypes. So it's pretty bullshit, to do that. And then The Eyes of Tammy Faye. This movie was a gigantic failure. It was another agenda movie, but not only that, it came off like a documentary because it was actually based on a documentary. And that's just a terrible idea to begin with. And then Cry Macho. This is a really bad movie. I mean, I forgot that it existed. It is just the biggest waste of time of the whole year. You just watch it and you're like, God, what a waste of time. Like, this is just a movie you put on at the nursing home, and then, like, the old people like it because they, that's the only thing they get to watch. But it's a really stupid, dumb movie, and it really has no value to it whatsoever. And then it literally doesn't have an ending, too. It just drops off at the end without any sort of good conclusion, except for this, like, really preachy scene where Clint Eastwood says, "It's not good to be macho." And it's like, fuck off, fucking 90-year-old. And then Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie is abysmal. It is terrible. And the only reason why people like it is because of Matobi and Andrew Garfield. And that's literally the only reason. When you take that out of this movie, it's a complete piece of shit. Oh, of course, and then Willem Dafoe. But then other than that, this whole movie is centered around Tom Holland's Spider-Boy. And he is not likable at all. The decisions he makes are terrible decisions. And if you can't have a good lead, then you're not going to have a good movie. It's as simple as that. And with this case, he's so bad that it ruins the movie. And the story, there's just so many things that suck about this movie. And then speaking of sucking, the Many Saints of Newark, ugh. You Sopranos fanboys thought I forgot about this trash, this fucking garbage. This movie pisses me off so much, it still pisses me off thinking about it. I would like to just take this movie, take every copy, and then burn it and stomp on it with my foot and pretend like I've just killed a movie person. Like the movie was a person and I just took them out. Because that's how much I fucking hate this movie. It's such a waste of time. It's boring. It's not what I thought the movie was going to be. And the plot is just ridiculously stupid. And then Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman. This movie literally gives Ted Bundy superpowers. He gets invisibility and teleportation. It's a complete fabrication, and it's the main actor playing Ted Bundy, he's terrible. And then bestsellers, ugh. This is a movie that tries to make Aubrey Plaza likable. And I'll just leave it at that. And then Fear Street Part 2, 1978. This is a movie that it's so bad that it's bad, but it's just like, it's not as bad as the other ones. And I think that that's the only thing that it has going for it. You know, it's pretty much just ripping off stuff, and it's terrible. Like, you can hardly see the violence. The story is stupid. It's like a really, really dumb, like, lame story. And on top of that, they have this really cringeworthy clothed sex scene where these two characters who have their clothes on are having sex somehow. And, you know, this whole Fear Street trilogy is probably the worst thing of the entire year. Like, it pisses me off so much. I could still make videos about how fucking bad those movies are. And the only reason people like them is because of the agendas. I mean, if you look at what people say about this fucking movie, damn, those characters are really going through it. Do you think they need a hand? I did enjoy this movie more than part 1, probably because of the time period. Like, see what I mean? Friday the 13th, part 472. Like, what is this? Like, okay, these are such stupid reasons to like a movie. Give me a valid reason. Because there's literally nothing to like about this movie. It's such a giant piece of shit. And it's a disgrace to the Fear Street series and to R.L. Stine's entire book catalog. And then the next one is Private Chat. Ugh. This is a movie that is supposed to be like a 1970s type of sex, thriller, mystery movie. But the problem is that there's hardly any nudity in this movie. And this is the start of my really, really bad dishonorable mentions with this Private Chat. This movie is such a disappointment. It is such a it's another such a stupid, terrible movie. When I was watching it, I was like, ugh, I want to refund my $3 because that's how bad this was. Get the fuck off, fucking Fallout TV show ad. But this is just it's a 1970s thriller with no balls, and that's a problem. And then another dishonorable mention is Infinite with Mark Wahlberg. Ugh. I mean, what do I even say about this fucking terrible-ass movie? It's just Mark Wahlberg, and they're trying to set up a series. You know, they're trying to, set up all these stupid characters who no one cares about. And you have this really cringeworthy, corny, over-the-top villain played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's a terrible villain. And he's so goofy. And then you got Mark Wahlberg, and he's literally just playing himself. And it's too bad because when I heard the concept years ago, I thought that sounds like it'll be a good movie. But it sucked. It sucked so bad that they put it on Paramount Plus, straight to Paramount Plus. The next dishonorable mention is Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat, everyone has had this movie in their worst of lists. And it's funny because when this piece of shit movie came out, everyone was loving this movie. Everyone was just like, oh my god, it's so good. I just love everything about it, even though it sucks. What did the movie do? What did this movie do? It's got some blood in it sometimes. You know what else this movie did? They tokenized Raiden. They tokenized Sonya. This movie was just really, really bad. And there was really nothing to like about it. It wasn't even a Mortal Kombat movie. It was about some fucking generic candy-ass guy named Liu Kang, or Liu Kang. And his whole thing is that he wears a suit of armor that protects him. What a pathetic excuse for a Mortal Kombat movie. What a complete, terrible, trash version of the game. Don't waste your time with that fucking movie. And then there's I Care a Lot, another dishonorable mention. This is another. Now, at first, I gave this movie some leeway because I thought at first, and I'm going to just give it a half star on letterboxed, I thought that this movie was a Tales from the Crypt style thing. A Tales from the Crypt style movie where you have this evil character. I mean, she is so fucking evil. The whole movie, you want to stomp on this bitch's face. Because she is so evil. She's taking old people and she's forcing them into old people's homes, making money off of them. Really, really disgusting, sociopathic bitch. And she just fucks with the wrong person at one point, and then she in turn gets fucked with by Peter Dinklage. And so you think okay, this is like a Tales from the Crypt episode. But then you realize that the whole movie is actually trying to promote this disgusting bitch. This fucking, whatever her name is, Marla Grayson. What a disgusting character. And, I realized that they were trying to make you root for her when the actress who played her girlfriend in the movie, wasn't she in The Punisher? No, she was in fucking Baby Driver, that fucking trash movie. She said that there's nothing wrong with what this woman did because, she's just exploiting the system. What a disgusting, ugh. This movie is really bad. It might be the worst agenda movie of the year. Because, when you look at this movie, you think, ugh, this person is evil. But apparently the people behind the movie, they intended you to like this person. And there's no way in hell I would ever like this disgusting, evil sociopath. I was clapping when she got killed. Clapping. And then my last dishonorable mention is the Addams Family 2. This, I didn't like the first one, and I said I'm not going to like the second one because it's literally, and it's funny because Safi she loved the first one. But this second movie literally has all the same flaws as the first one. They're just amplified. And the story is really trash because from the trailers and the marketing, you think it's going to be all about the Addams family going on a vacation. But then when you watch it, it's this stupid plot about Wednesday. And there's this evil scientist, and he's manipulating her to think that she's related to him and not the Addams family. What a fucking miserable excuse for an Addams Family movie. Just make live action Addams Family. Why does it have to be animated? So now we are getting to my top 10 worst. And I realize it's a longer video, but I can't help it. These movies are fucking bad. Even the ones that are near the top are bad. That's how bad this year is for movies. It's really embarrassing. Number 10 is Home Sweet Home Alone. You know, when they talked about there's going to be a Home Alone reboot coming out, nobody wanted it. Everyone said, I don't want a reboot of this movie in particular. Don't make it. But that's not the worst part. The worst part of this movie is that they make the kid the bad guy, and then they make the two thieves, they make them the good guys. And I actually think that could be a good movie. It could be a good twist on things, but not in this movie. In this movie, it's just done because the writers think they're clever and they're really full of themselves. You know, the whole movie feels like a series of SNL skits. And it's too bad because I was actually kind of looking forward to after I heard about the change of how, because I really liked the two main characters who were the thieves in the movie. I thought that they were actually really good characters, but they really did this main kid dirty. You know, basically he's just the spoiled, fat British kid. And I'm just saying that because that's what they make him. Like, they make no attempt for you to like him at all. He's this terrible, evil piece of shit. He is the first. I have never wanted to kill a child in a movie more than this piece of shit. Him and then Alma from American Horror Story. Them two I would like to throw in a boiling pot of water and close the lid and kill them like lobsters. Because this fucking kid, he is literally, I mean, the traps that he goes so over the top. It is like, it is sickening. It's hard to watch. And I had to force myself to watch at the end of it. And then they have this stupid ending where they try to reverse it. And it's like, you can't do that. Like, they did like 8 out of 9 parts of the movie. It's one way. And then all of a sudden at the end, they change it. Like, fuck off. Terrible movie. And then number 9, speaking of terrible, Halloween Kills. Ugh. Fuck this fucking movie. Halloween Kills. What a disgusting piece of shit Halloween movie. First off, let's just talk about the plagiarism. Because this movie openly plagiarizes multiple Halloween sequels that it's pretending that it's ignoring. Not only that, but literally just the whole movie is Michael Myers walking around killing people. And then you have this mob of people who are probably some of the stupidest people I've ever seen in history of the Halloween series. I mean, they make the bad characters of the series look good. Because they ruin Tommy Doyle. They make Tommy Doyle like this piece of shit, like this mean, stubborn idiot who, you know, all the characters are idiots except for Michael Myers. And then Michael Myers is just a fucking robotic figure. He has no character whatsoever. And, you know, just there's so many bad things about this movie. I hate this movie. And if I could put this movie in number 1, I would. Like, that's how much I hate this movie. This is a disgustingly bad series. The only reason why people like it is because this is basically copying and pasting elements of the good sequels. Other than that, this is terrible. And, you know, they see at the beginning of the movie, they see this 2 faces on the television screen. And then they know both of the faces. They know what Michael looks like, and they know what this other guy looks like, and then they're still chasing after the other guy. Like, what a terrible mob. Idiots. And then you have Jamie Lee Curtis, who wants to insert her little feminazi agendas into things. So you have a character who got stabbed in the stomach and had to get surgery, walking around like she's going to go and do something and fight and gang murder an innocent person. I mean, what a disgusting character. I am so sick of this overrated Laurie Strode character. I'm sick of her. I want new characters. We got new characters in the sequels. That's why they didn't like it, is because it's not Laurie Strode. It's good characters. Number 8 is Coming to America 2. And this movie, honestly, it's really, really bad. It's just a complete unfunny movie. The story is really unnecessary, pointless. Not only that, but this movie has a character played by Leslie Jones, who is literally a rapist. I mean, they reveal that she raped Eddie Murphy in the first movie, and that's how he has a son. And then she gets to come to the kingdom, and she's basically treated like a queen the whole movie, and it's never raised at all, the fact that she raped him. I mean, this movie is such a disgrace. Once again, it's just copying the first one. Then they have this girl power bullshit, lots of woke shit in this movie, where all the guys are idiots, all the girls are smart. Really, really bad. In the first movie, they had good female characters. But now, there's no good female characters. It's just terrible all the way around. Number 7 is Don't Look Up. This is a movie that I thought was pretty good at first. When I first watched it, I looked at the good stuff. I thought, there are some good elements in this terrible piece of fucking shit movie. But then when you watch it again, it gets really, really bad. Not only are they copying Dr. Strangelove, openly copying Dr. Strangelove, pretending like that's okay. Not only are they doing that, but the whole movie is essentially another agenda movie. It's such a sickening movie to watch, because you can feel the contempt that the filmmakers have behind the camera. All the different shots and angles. You have like these close-ups of people, and then you have a close-up of Jennifer Lawrence, of her face looking like she's disapproving of the audience. Like, this movie is really, really bad. When I watched it the second time, I wanted to punch the screen, because it was just so... This movie is so full of itself, and, it's just a bunch of bullshit. Like, it's so... Ugh. Ugh. Number 6 is The Woman in the Window. This is a movie... People don't even talk about this movie, how bad it is. Once again, it's another ripoff. Ripping off Rear Window. But number 2, this movie is just bad. I mean, it is plain old bad. It doesn't even have any agendas in it. It's just bad. You got this story that could have been good, I guess, maybe. And it was supposed to be in theaters. And then it was so bad that they actually sold it to Netflix. But the plot choices, the plot turns in this movie, they're really bad. And it's unfortunate, because I was actually looking forward to this movie. I was planning on seeing it in theaters. But it's a terrible plot. Gary Oldman is the best part of the movie. He's hardly in it. And then also Kurt Russell's son is really good too. Well, he's pretty good. But the movie itself is just really, really bad. And then they have this twist at the end where the killer is actually someone else. And the guy who they chose, oh God, what a terrible choice for a bad guy. Number 5 is Army of the Dead. This is a movie that I didn't finish. It's by Zack Snyder, and it's another one of his terrible movies where he's just overindulging for 5 hours. You know, it's funny because I wanted to like this movie. Regardless of what I think about how shitty his DC movies are, I wanted to like this movie, and I thought that, you know, he made that Dawn of the Dead movie, and that was really pretty good. And if he can make Dawn of the Dead years ago, he can make Army of the Dead make it really good. But this is just terrible. I mean, it starts off, and I turned it off because of this one thing. They introduce a character who's pretty evil. You know, he's a slimy scumbag, and he is introduced to being on the team. And then at one point, they literally just sacrifice him to the zombies, and that's it. But it's like, this is sickening because, you know, good zombie movies, usually they'll have a character who's evil or who's scummy, and then the whole movie they're in conflict with the main character, and so it's like this tension growing through the whole movie. Or maybe they work together, and so that's really good. But in this movie, they literally just introduced this character just to kill him off, and it really pissed me off. And honestly, I don't even care. Like, I heard about this, and then of course this fucking dad, he brings his daughter on this zombie mission. Terrible movie this is. I am so glad I did not waste 3 hours watching this fucking movie. And Safi really got off lucky when she didn't have to watch it either. I was considering forcing her to do a commentary of it, but I just decided, no, I don't want to watch it. Number 4, speaking of things I don't want to watch, Fear Street 1994. And we have the first in the trilogy of agenda movies by this director who doesn't know what she's doing. She's not a fan of the books, clearly, and I stopped watching it like 20 minutes in because they had this good opening scene, honestly, where there's this girl and she's being chased around the mall by a killer, and it's actually a pretty good opening scene. And then they introduce the real main characters, and she's this very, very unlikable character who's like, she's really boring, dull, and she has this brother played by Eugene from Your Honor, and anything that he's in is just going to automatically be trash. But this movie, they do this bait and switch where they're talking about how the main character, she is broken up with this person named Sam. And they keep that very, very vague. And then they have this fucking bait and switch where they show that, oh, Sam is actually the girl. And she broke up with the girl. And this main character is a lesbian, by the way. And it's like, ugh, what a pandering, terrible movie. An agenda movie. And then I heard from Safi that this movie is kind of like glorifying suicide. Really bad. And this movie takes the cake. The third one in the series, Fear Street 1666. Wow. I mean, this movie is so bad. You have the 1666 colony town, and I guess it's supposed to be California, even though California wasn't even a colony at that point. And and you have all these black people running around the 1600s. They're just a part of the town. They're not slaves or anything. It's like, fuck off with this agenda bullshit. this rewriting history like this. Like there was a guy walking in the background with a fucking afro. I mean, what the fuck? And then you have this terrible story. I'm not kidding you guys. Do you want to know what the whole fucking Fear Street trilogy was about? It was about this guy, and he was the best part of the movie. Actually, he did a really good job. The main guy, I can't remember his name. I don't know, but he's this guy who's in love with the main girl, and the main lesbian girl. Well, actually, he's in love with Sarah, and oh yeah, he's in love with Sarah, this girl in town, but she so happens to be a lesbian, just like the girl in the first movie. So it just so happens that these two girls are lesbian, and the guy finds out, and he's really upset. He's mad, and so he makes a deal with the devil to curse the town. And in exchange, like, he has to lead the town, and he passes it down to each member of his family, and so there's this whole agenda with anti-police stuff, and at the end of the movie, they're like, let's kill the sheriff. Like, oh, God, this is really bad. But the whole series, this whole fucking Fear Street trilogy, it all happened because of lesbianism, and because the guy didn't like the fact that a girl was a lesbian. I mean, what a disgusting movie this is. It is pathetic, the fact that people like this movie. Let's listen to this review. Let's listen to, why is this movie a good movie? Because it's not even a good movie to begin with. Like, you could take the agenda shit out of it. It's still not a good movie. But this girl says, never trust a rich man. Only trust the LGBTQ plus community. That's a legitimate review for this movie. Pathetic. What a pathetic fucking movie this is. And the thing is that the agenda is the story. Like, you almost can't separate the agenda from the story, because that's literally what the whole story is. And then the whole movie doesn't even take place in 1666. Half of it takes place in 1994 again. Oh, God, it's pissing me off all over again. Now, speaking of pissing me off, number 2. Zack Snyder's Justice League. This 4-hour piece of shit movie. There are so many plot holes and stupid choices in this movie. I mean, this is so bad. They don't care about the characters at all. It's so pathetic, the fact that people would say this is a good representation of the comic books. Like, it's literally the same movie as the 2017 version, except filled with mindless bullshit that nobody cares about. Superman's back to being really unlikable, evil, terrible. Let's just go down the line. The Flash, he choked a bitch in real life, so... actually, I like the Flash, but then you have Cyborg. Oh, what a terribly unlikable character. And there's so much of him in this movie. It's almost like the Cyborg movie. And he's such a terrible character, and he's such a bore. And then you have Wimpy Woman, Wonder Woman. She's a terrible actress. She's really unlikable in this movie. She's running around like doing all sorts of damage. Really, really bad. Then you have Ben Affleck's Batman. He literally just, at the end of the movie, he's literally just shooting a gun at aliens for 5 hours. But his character's really bad too. And then Aquaman, it's too bad, because in the 2017 version, I liked Aquaman. But then I had to watch this piece of shit where a woman is sniffing Aquaman's sweater. And that's a scene that's important to the movie. And then, what else could I say? This movie is just, the villain is terrible. He's just a villain who can't even talk properly. He has this goofy voice, a goofy CGI costume. What a terrible Justice League movie. And it's 4 hours of trash. Number 1 is The Matrix Resurrections. Now, this movie, I didn't think it would be bad. I thought that maybe this could be good. Not only is this movie another woke 2021 woke movie, but it's also just a gigantic piece of shit. The plot is literally just ripping off the first one. So to the point of where they're just like straight up like play by play ripping off scenes and saying like, look, this is really good because it's not the first movie, but it is at the same time. And then you have like just all these really terrible versions of old characters. Like Carrie Ann Moss, it's too bad because, this poster and everything, it's all a bait and switch. She's not even Trinity in the movie until like the last 5 minutes. And it's this really cringeworthy scene where everyone turns into zombies or something. And he's got like force powers. He's like pushing people with, like clouds or something. The action in this movie is terrible. It's a boring movie. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. And then they have like old versions of older characters. Like they have the guy from Mindhunter playing Agent Smith. And oh, what a terrible choice. Terrible casting. Speaking to a terrible casting, this movie's villain is the worst villain of the year. He's played by Neil Patrick Harris, and he's this really, really goofy therapist, and his character's really unlikable, and he's just there to spew out exposition the whole movie, and he barely does anything menacing. But the whole movie in general, it's boring. This is a boring movie. It was the most boring movie I saw the whole year. And while I was watching it, this fucking 3-hour Matrix movie, I was falling asleep. Like, I fell asleep watching The Matrix 4. I fell asleep watching this like a million times. Like, it was hard not to fall asleep watching this terrible movie. And it's too bad, too, because, it could have been good, but it was just the plot. I don't even remember the plot. Like, there's a video. The thing is, it had a pretty good setup at the beginning with this whole video game idea, but then as the movie went on and on and on, the plot turns into literally characters are just giving exposition to Neo as he stands around. And just, God, I hate this movie. But I hated all these movies. If I had to choose, I would put all of these movies together and throw them in the trash where they belong. The one that pissed me off the most was Fear Street 3. But The Matrix and the Justice League were worse, still. Because I would rather watch, as much as it pains me to say it, I would rather watch Fear Street 3 again than watch Justice League again. Because I watched Justice League twice, because I had to watch it with Safi, and then Matrix. So what a terrible year for movies. I will be doing my own ceremony where I award the movies of the year and give them bad and good awards, because I'd love to talk more specifically about these movies and really analyze why they were bad. Because, like, I don't even know if I liked a movie this year. Like, to be honest, like, let's see. Like, is there, like, at least one movie I can say, yeah, I like that. I watched it again. I'm going back to my list. Let's see. No. That was good. Oh, that's my movie, so that's bias. No, 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 no. That one was good. No, that one was kind of. See, all the movies this year were just, they were just kind of good, and that's not good enough, because movies like this is 2022 now. And if you can't make a good movie at this point, then you should just give up. Because you got all the resources, you got all these great actors, you got all this great technology, and then you constantly are fucking up with the writing, the script, and it's really getting on my nerves seeing this terrible writing that's plagued Hollywood. And then they suck the color out of movies. They don't have any nudity in movies nowadays because it's an agenda. And then they have agendas and everything, so I have to talk about agendas all the time, even though I don't care about agendas. Uh, it's really bad. So anyways, sorry. Anyways, please like this video and then comment. Tell me what your top 10 worst movies of the year were. And then please subscribe to this channel. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.